Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls watching us from everywhere in the world, we are streaming live from Sydney Airport, Sydney's International Airport. And if we look at the environment, seems to be nice, peaceful, and beautiful. We are awaiting the arrival of the Boeing 747 of Kalitta Air. How is everyone doing? I hope you all are having a great time. Yeah, we just captured FedEx, if y'all can see on the screen. I think we should use just the back camera and maybe zoom in a bit. Do you all see the FedEx plane? How good is that? And we have a Virgin Australia Boeing 737 taking off. How many of y'all can see my shadow? My shadow is right there moving. Can you see? As you all know, in the afternoon it is a bit quieter at Sydney Airport, and right now is the exact same that's happening. And we are going to have a takeoff like an airplane. Yes, that is Jetstar. We all can see it moving. Can you all see how windy it is? The camera is shaking. We already have a very heavy metal tripod stand, and that is shaking. That's crazy. So, for those of you who are waiting and watching, thank you very much. We welcome you to the stream. As you all know, we are streaming right now on live world stream, but this is not our usual channel to film aviation content. We usually film it on Sydney Airport Aviation, and come this Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we will be live streaming, hopefully, weather permitting, and hopefully, we get some good views. Of course, if the weather isn't as great, we will be not streaming at that very moment. But for now, hopefully, the weather does say that everything is going to be good. So hopefully, everything works well. At this very moment, what we are doing is we are here to capture Kalitta Air Boeing 747. When I reached the airport, it did say that it was about 55 minutes away from Sydney, so we should get that soon. Uh, I don't know whether to say fortunately or unfortunately, the runways that are currently in use is runway 16L and 16R. Nevertheless, it is always great for us to actually get this view in the first place. Usually, that is not the case when we stream otherwise, and especially considering this is the afternoon time, the sun is behind us, and that is what really makes everything go so well. Usually, if it would be the other way around, in the morning is when we happen to get a silhouette version. But could you just imagine this? We have been streaming all morning long from this very place, and we've never really complained about it. So I think it's more about positioning, and that's the reason we usually come for an early view as such. However, we may actually try finding better places again, but we don't know. Let us see. Everything is quite variable. It takes a lot of, I would say, takes a lot of planning as such. So yeah, I'm glad that we can at least bring this stream to you. While it is not going to be a full-fledged stream like how we do on Sydney Airport Aviation, we are still going to be able to see quite a few planes at this very moment. All right, we saw Link Air taking off. We might have to stabilize the tripod and stand shortly, which we will be doing. Hello everyone, good evening. I hope you all are having a great time. We have just started streaming. It's about 15 minutes since we started streaming. However, we haven't really caught much planes due to the very fact that there are not as many planes in Sydney, at least at this time. You know, the afternoon peak has already cleared, and yeah, we are just waiting for planes to come across. Let us see how things work out. Okay, so we'll make a minor adjustment. We need to get our phone case outside, so let us do that. Yep, and we've got our case, so just a bit more. Alrighty, this is the case that we are keeping our tripod stand on, and hopefully it's going to give us a good height. And yes, like you also earlier as well, that was the height that it was getting. So it's a good and stable setup for us. And whilst it's a good and stable setup, the wind is always playing spoil sport, I would say. Nevertheless, no complaints yet. We're trying to get the power bank out of sight, but this is the power bank. We'll keep it as such so that we get a good view of the planes as well as the back camera. Whoa, that was too much of zoom. If we use the ultra wide lens, it's way too much zoomed out. I think this should be the perfect one for us. And let us get ready. At this very moment, we are just waiting for planes to come all across. There's not very many, but we should be still getting. Okay. Whoa, that was the Mendovirgi livery. We didn't even realize that we weren't ready for it. QF651, Sydney to Perth. That's okay. The next one we have is QF123, Sydney to Queenstown on the Boeing 737 800. We were horizon leveling manually. It's already blowing, trying to get a bit cold. I'm glad we wore a hoodie. Okay, we have Sydney to Bangkok TG472 that has just pushed back from the gate. We should able to see it having taken off or maybe just rotating at this very spot where we are. I wish it was runway 34 that would have been in operation, but you can't complain. So we will just leave everything as it is and we'll try to get the best of what we can. All right, Sydney to Melbourne QF461 is making its way. All right, you also QF461 Sydney to Melbourne service just taking off. We have Sydney to Queenstown as well, but before that, Melbourne to Sydney service will be landing. We weren't able to get that on screen because because the domestic flights, when they do come in, they will turn off near Sheps Mound, and we don't have a view of Sheps Mound. Okay, what you saw on screen though, however, was the service of Jetstar that came in from Hervey Bay. 21 minutes since we started streaming. As of now, it is 4:22 p.m. at Sydney Airport. We will be just streaming for about another hour and 10 minutes or so because then it's going to get dark and we will move out of here and perhaps go to Sheps Mound. We have never really tested our camera at Sheps Mound in the evening, especially with the lens that we currently use. We use the 100mm to 400mm Canon lens, and we've never tested it. We tried testing the 800mm fixed aperture 800mm lens at Sheps Mound, but it has an aperture of f11, so that really meant that we wouldn't be getting good shots, and rightly so, we didn't really get anything because it's so dark. However, this lens does have a faster aperture. I'm not too sure how much, but considering Sheps Mound is much closer to the taxiways and to runway 16/34, maybe we could get some good views. I have no idea. Um, I don't really know what it could look like, but only time could tell. So today after sunset and once it's completely dark, that is where we will be going. I do know a lot of people love to be there because they have their wonderful lens which works quite well even in the darkness of the night. However, for us, we don't have those type of lenses, and we are literally just going to be testing it. If it works out well, then good on us. Okay, QF123 Sydney to Queenstown service on the Boeing 737-800 has begun its takeoff roll. We should be able to see it shortly. How good was that, right? QF43, the Airbus A330 Qantas, Sydney to Denpasar. That is one wonderful service that we are waiting for. Then there is Sydney to Bangkok service on Thai Airways. That's another one. A bit of heavy departures. So I'm pretty impressed that we can get that. But let me see if I can pan around and show you all these seagulls. Okay, so we do have our power bank as such. So we'll have to just shift it a bit. Bear with me. Right, can you all have a look? Those seagulls could take your food, and there are notices everywhere at this very place to not feed them because they do get used to humans and the food, and it does spoil the ecological imbalance apart from the birds being a risk to the airport operations. Okay, Sydney to Orange on the Dash 8 400 is making its way. We should see it on its takeoff roll. Probably it would have already rotated before we even see it because they are quite light. That was another good one. Okay, what you saw on screen is Virgin Australia moving to the right. That is the service to Gold Coast. So it's going to be taking off right from runway 16L. So it doesn't have much more of taxi time left. It's just going to taxi a bit more. It's got to move towards the left. Okay, QF43 is at holding point on runway 16. Okay, Sydney to Denpasar QF43 has begun its takeoff roll. We should be able to see that one. It's going to be fun. I hope you all are having a great time at home and enjoying. And let's have a look. That is Qantas Boeing 737 arriving on runway 16. So yeah, 16L. How good was that? I hope you all enjoyed that departure out of Sydney, making its way on to Denpasar, which is in Indonesia. Okay, I have just panned the camera around a bit so that I'll get a better view and also zoomed in a bit. So we have Sydney to Bangkok service PG472 that has just begun its takeoff roll. The Airbus A350-900. What a pleasure to get the A350-900 at this very time of the day. Usually this is never the time that we are here at the airport, but we are glad that today we are. That was a nice heavy departure out of Sydney to Bangkok. We have EMI 454 coming in from Abu Dhabi on the A350 1000. So the Abu Dhabi to Sydney service on Etihad. It should be arriving shortly in 1 minute is what Flight Radar 24 tells us. So maybe not too sure. You can have a look. Yes, it is actually 1 minute, but right now it says zero, so we should get a nice good view of the A350-1000. We'll be clicking a lot of pictures, as well as you will get a good view of the A350-1000 as it slows down. And I'm not too sure if you will get a view of it as it turns through, but I think for the most part we should be getting it. All right, that is Jetstar. That is Jetstar service to Denpasar. So earlier we had Qantas service to Denpasar, now is Jetstar. Hardly any difference. So if you want the full-fledged service, fly Qantas. If you want the nice, cheaper budget fares, fly Jetstar. They both are the same company. All right, let's capture EY454 Abu Dhabi to Sydney service on the A350-1000, registered as A6XWN. Okay, so y'all had a look. We had the Etihad Abu Dhabi to Sydney service, A350-1000. They turned quite early. They probably were light, or probably they landed way too early on the runway. I think just as they would have entered. Either way, it's good. No stress. It's just that if they would have used the entirety of the runway, we would have got some better views. All right, we see another plane landing in the background. That again is Jetstar from Prosperine, a 2 hour and 3 minute flight. We at this very moment we don't really have much of planes coming in, just a few domestic ones here and there. But we are waiting for Kalitta Air, the Singapore Airlines coming in from Singapore Changi International Airport on its A350-900 as SQ241. And like I mentioned to all of you, we will be here for a while. Okay, as you all can see, there's not many planes at all. It's completely opposite to what we see in the morning when there are a lot of planes. This is a total opposite of what we usually spot. And that's one of the very many reasons we do not actually stream in the afternoon, because there's not much. But let us see if we can spot uh, a bit today. Okay, we have Melbourne to Sydney service coming VA855. Again, it is not something that will be seen by us, because it is more like the plane just turning before those plans over there, because they need to use the domestic terminal, not the international terminal. I was supposed to say the international terminal. So yes, we don't really have any of the departures as of now, but we do have those heavy arrivals coming in. Singapore to Sydney, SQ241 arriving in 3 minutes. Okay, what we do see on screen is Sydney to Brisbane, Airbus A321 200 NY XL, registered as VHOGB. That is the second plane, second A321 long range. And following it is Jetstar with its new livery, Sydney to Gold Coast on the Airbus A320. It was nice to see another plane. It used so much of the runway. And that is just a domestic aircraft, I believe. Let us check. Yes, it's a Sydney to Melbourne service, but I believe it would be a full flight, very heavy, so making the best use of the runway. If you'll see, there's people on the beach trying to click pictures and doing that thing. I don't think we would actually be going into that sand because we don't really want to get our car dirty. So yes, what we are doing today is just streaming. Let us know if you'll want to see this stream when we are simultaneously streaming for Sydney Airport Aviation, because usually at Sydney Airport Aviation it's a full-fledged stream. We don't stop talking, and usually we stream during the most busy hours of the day, which is early morning. All right, we see the emergency vehicle over there. That's the firefighting equipment. Let us also click a picture of it. It's going to be nice, or maybe perhaps a video. All right, what we see is Singapore Airlines. Superb, that was nice. How did you like it? Singapore Airlines SQ241 that came in from Singapore Changi International Airport on the Airbus A350-900, registered as 9V SME. All right, we have the Boeing 767 of UPS getting ready for departure. It's just pushing back. We should get that one. All right, Sydney to Melbourne service on the Boeing 737-800 QF465. Okay, so we are waiting for the Boeing 747 400. It will be arriving in about maybe 2 minutes, I would say. Um, the thing does say 1 minute, but flight radar does say 1 minute, but I don't think it is 1 minute. It has to be 2 minutes because prior to that, there is Adelaide to Sydney service on QF 742, the Boeing 737 800 that would be landing. That itself says landing in 0 minutes, 325 feet above the ground, and then we have Honolulu to Sydney, Kalitta Air. So we would be capturing that one. Right, we did see Jetstar. I'm glad we can capture two of these planes. The Sydney to Angeles City, which is UPS 136. Angeles City, for those of you who don't know, is located in Philippines. However, if you speak about Los Angeles, that's in California, the United States of America. So this one, yes, that's the Boeing 767. Let us see how it works out. There's an Adelaide to Sydney service that I did speak about earlier, which has just landed QF 742 and will be turning off near Sheps Mound. Sheps Mound is the spotting location known by a lot of aviation spotters as such. So that's the place that people usually go to, but then you don't really get a good takeoff roll and such. Even from here, you don't get a good takeoff roll when runway 16 is being used. But when runway 34 is being used, that is on the right side, you would get a good view of the planes. Alrighty, let's get ready. Kalitta Air is going to be here. And that is what we came for. That's the star of the show, actually. So hopefully, we get a very good view of it. But prior to that, Sydney to Adelaide service VA428 on the Boeing 737 is going to make its way. I think we will try capturing it. Yeah, you're it's just the airport view. Yeah. All right, so we see Kalitta Air Boeing 747-400 that is coming from Honolulu. How good is that? So now you'll be able to see on screen the Boeing 747-400 of Kalitta Air. Now we don't have any memberships, like active memberships as of now.
Is this your one?
Yeah, yeah, this is the one.
How do you find that live?
So we went to Tokyo Haneda and Tokyo Narita earlier this year in February. So over there you get to see a lot of other planes compared to what you see here. So yeah, we prefer it over there as well. But then yeah, we will be streaming on Saturday. Now this is on the other channel. This is a smaller channel, live world stream. So that's why we don't have the tripod and all. It's usually we go quite professional when it's on that stream. Yeah, cool. Okay, so we had a few fans that just came and were having a chat with us. They wanted to know if they can join us on our channel, and we obviously would love to. We will never say no to anyone who wants to join us. Yep. So as you can see, there's not much of sunlight left. There's Virgin Australia coming in, and not coming in. It's actually taxing, and it should have. Virgin Australia should have come from Hamilton. Yes, it is the Hamilton service. All right, so we have captured what we wanted to today. There's Air Niugini from Papua New Guinea with a 50 years livery that has come in, but that's not something we would be able to see as such. But let's get ready for Sydney to Angeles City, Boeing 737-300 ER. It will be great to capture that one. So yes, I think we are just taking off our hat because we don't need it anymore. All right, we thought we wouldn't get it, but we happen to get it, as you can see on screen. Lovely. I think our camera froze and we couldn't get much view of it, but at least we captured it on the live stream. That's one good thing. Hopefully everything goes well. The we should be getting the Angeles City stream, and that should be a good one. So let us see. We still have some time, so we don't really see any of that. Okay, we have spotted Qantas. It's the Boeing 737. Yeah, wonderful takeoff, right? I think we will just pan the camera again ever so slightly so that we get a better view of the planes as such. right, we see a plane just passing by, and that is the Port Macquarie to Sydney service on Qantas Link. That's the De Havilland Canada Dash 8 400, which is, of course, known as Dash 8. All right, we are waiting for the Sydney to Angeles service, which is the UPS Boeing 767. It's going to be wonderful to capture that one. We are excited, and hopefully we get a very good view of it. The sun is still shining on the runway, so that is a good one. But usually it's like when we come in the morning, it's much more better. Alrighty, 59 minutes since we started streaming. And not too long before we end the stream, it's exactly 5 o'clock here in Sydney, Australia. We are at Sydney Airport on Thursday, 23rd of April 2026. We are just waiting for the takeoff Sydney to Angeles service. We don't really know what else we will get, but we do know that we can actually get the Sydney to Angeles service. All right, Sydney to Angeles service, that is CRK. CRK is the airport code for Angeles. The plane has just lined up on the runway. I think it's going to be a rolling takeoff because the speed that we see right now is 7 knots. All right, ground speed 8 and 12. There you go. We are getting that, so it should be a good one. Let us get our camera ready. And yes, let us see. We should get a wonderful shot of that service. Alrighty, we are ready with our camera. How good was that? Did you all see that? The Sydney to Angeles service had taken off much more earlier than usual. Probably they used full thrust, or either they were too light. You never really know. But what I'm guessing is usually from Angeles they would make their way to Hong Kong, which is not too far. Angeles is in the Philippines, so maybe from Hong Kong they would then make their way to other places such as Delhi or Anchorage, Alaska in the United States, because that's how usually, I would say, that's how usually the flights work for cargo aircraft. Okay, so now we are just waiting for, I don't know, we are just waiting for planes. We don't see any. It's a bit crazy. Usually that's not the case when we film for Sydney Airport Aviation in the morning. And of course, even over here, if we would have streamed in the morning, we would get a lot more of the planes. But then right now, there is nothing. Hey everyone, welcome back. We are just waiting. It's about 1 hour and 5 minutes since we started streaming. We've got a couple of planes that we've spotted, and we just had the Boeing 767 of UPS making its way to Angeles, which is in Philippines. We got Kalitta Air Boeing 747-400. What a good view! What a lovely day to capture that. I've never seen that in real life, so it was my first time to capture it. However, we are also waiting for DHL, the departure, which is at 5:05. So I'm not too sure when it's going to depart because it's 5:06 right now. Its scheduled departure is to Hong Kong. Don't see anything as such happening. We don't see any pushbacks. So maybe we've got to wait a bit more. But as we speak, I'm also checking the app to see if there's anything exciting that's going to happen, any of the departures, apart from that, any heavy departures, but nothing as such. Let us see if there's any arrivals, heavy arrivals coming. New Zealand and New Zealand that comes in from Christchurch, but that's not a heavy one, that's just an Airbus A320. Sorry, A220, I guess. No, I don't really see any heavy departures, heavy arrivals coming until, at least until we do have a bit of daylight. Because as you all know, we will be losing daylight. We'll capture a bit of the airport as such. Yeah, not the airport, just some scenes of the runway, and we will stay here until it's dark, and then we will make our way to Shep's Mount to test our camera lens. So guys, I think we will move the camera a bit. Over here you see this is just the beach, and all the black color thing that you see, it's not really black, it's more brownish color, and those are all dried leaves. I think they would have probably been washed ashore from the beach. That is what I believe, but you never know. So we will leave it as such because we need to see if we can spot any more planes. As of now, we don't see any. I mean, when I say we don't see any, it means none of the heavy departures, none of the heavy arrivals. The Sydney to Melbourne service on Jetstar JQ517 and Airbus A320. There's JQ954 Sydney to Cairns service. Again, Jetstar JQ is the call sign of Jetstar. So, yes, we don't really see anything. However, we are still gonna be waiting as such until it gets dark, and then we will be driving to Sheps Mount to go get a good view to see how things work out there when it is dark. If everything goes well, then maybe we can capture a bit of uh, planes from there. But as we speak, we see the moon, so probably we'll capture the moon from here. Okay, 1 hour and 11 minutes and 11 seconds since we started streaming. It is nonetheless a very quiet time. Now, this is one of the reasons why we don't stream. I've had a couple of people do ask me about streaming in the afternoon and evening, and this is the reason why we don't. However, this is not always the case, right? We see it's going to be winter in Sydney and the whole of Australia very soon. Officially, the winter season starts not May, June 1st, according to the calendars. As we were speaking, did you all see that plane that just took off? That was the Royal Australian Air Force or Navy, something they call it. I don't know what it is. That's the Boeing 737 MAX 8. All right, that is Jetstar Sydney to Melbourne JQ517. Can you all even imagine how many Sydney to Melbourne services we have seen? I think we've already seen 5 in less than an hour, and we don't know how many more are yet to go to Sydney to Melbourne. As we speak, I see Virgin Australia Sydney to Melbourne service just holding short of the runway. It's probably making some final checks or just making sure that all arriving aircraft have cleared off the runway before they get onto the active runway, that is runway 16R, before making their way onwards. All right, Santiago to Sydney service on QF28 Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner of Qantas will be arriving in 7 minutes. Not sure if you'll be able to capture that, but you can give it a try. I'm just live streaming to YouTube.
Oh, are you vlogger?
Not vlogger, but then today we are streaming on the second channel. Usually we stream on Sydney Airport Aviation. We usually stream every weekend.
Can you focus on that lady and then I will tell her to see on your YouTube channel if you can.
I don't think it's going to be too much because
If you can.
yeah, it's not going to be too clear because we have already lost
that's okay.
the light as such. So you see, it's not too clear. And then we are
What's
focusing.
your channel?
It's called Sydney Airport Aviation.
Sydney Airport Aviation?
Yeah.
I will let her know. She can watch herself.
Oh no, this one we are streaming on Live World Stream, which is our secondary channel. So usually Sydney Airport Aviation is all about aviation. Today we are just
Good. We should have even knowledge about that. We were looking for the place. We couldn't find him, going around and around. And after that, she saw an Indian guy from our country, and he posted that thing. So she saw the video, and then we came here.
Yes.
Just going here and there.
This is one place you can go that side, Sheps Mound. Have you heard of Sheps Mound?
Sheps Mound?
Sheps Mound, yes. It is just by the base of the ATC tower. You get a very good view of the planes, just that you won't get a good view from this side. Today they are using runway 16, so all the landings and takeoffs from that side. This is, if you start from that side, it's runway 34. If they are starting from that side, it's runway 16. So right now it's runway 16. Usually in the morning, if you come in the morning, you'll see planes from very far away coming and landing. So you'll get a very good view from here. But when they use runway 16, it is better to go to Sheps Mound. It's not too far from here. I think it's about 7 or 8 minute drive.
Let me write it.
Yeah. You just type in Sheps Mound and you see a lot of people. And the best thing is, it's SHEPS. Oh yeah, there you go. That,
Shep's Mount.
yeah, that one. And it's right at the base. You get very good view of the plane over there. The only thing is you don't really get a good view if the planes are landing from this side. But if they're taking off from that side, landing from that side, like right now, you'll get a very good view.
What about the morning? If you come tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning, if you come, it is fine. But usually on windy days, like today is slightly windy. There's one thing. So usually when it's windy, they'll always use that runway.
The 16 one.
Yes, the 16. So if
Otherwise they use 34?
yes, if it's very calm, it's almost always 34.
Then the view can be good on the 34.
Yes, you'll always get very good views, and you'll get a lot of international arrivals and departures, because usually in the morning just before 6, it's all the
because of that, the confusion, we missed one flight. It was so big. It was international.
Is it Air Tahiti or something?
Yeah, something Arab name, I think. I forgot the name. She knows the name.
The Arab name, so was it Etihad or something?
Yeah, Etihad.
Okay, yes. In the morning, you'll get Etihad, you'll get Emirates, Qatar Airways. You'll get almost all the international arrivals in the morning.
That's beautiful.
Yes, so if you ever want to come here just before 6. Of course, now because we are standard time, so you don't have as much daylight, but you can still come, because by May, June, I think it's going to get brighter by 6:30 onwards, so you won't get good view. But
so it's your channel.
Yes, Sydney Airport Aviation. So we will be streaming on this Saturday, Sunday, Monday, long weekend and Saturday and stuff. So yeah, but thank you so much. But yes, if you all want to come, always come in the morning. You all will get very good view. And right now it's like not much traffic as such. It's almost boring. But then if you come in the morning, it's a constant stream. 6 to about 9:30 is most of the arrivals. Then you'll have most of the departure crowds starting from.
He was live streaming, and your video will be.
So now
he
you're
was getting the graphics from him, and he was telling me today, because of the wind, they are running the runway 16. Usually when they run the 34 from here, then you will get a good view and the pictures, everything. And he told me one location. I get the screen.
Shep's Mount.
Huh?
Shep's Mount. It's that side. The base of the. No, I'm not a local. I live in Bankstown.
Oh, that's beautiful. Shep's Mount. So we can go there and we can get pictures with Shep's Mount.
Shep's Mount. You'll get a very good view of the planes from quite close.
Tomorrow morning, 5 a.m.?
5 a.m. you won't get any planes, but come about like 5:45, because usually 6 is when all the crazy arrivals actually start.
Like the Emirates and all that.
Yes,
right?
Emirates usually comes about 6 o'clock. You'll have Singapore Airlines and quite a lot of them in the morning.
I told him to go closer.
No, it's not even as bright right now, but usually during daytime. If we are filming, then we'll film from this phone. But today we are just streaming to the second.
Oh my god. And where do you put it?
Where do I put it? It's streaming right now to YouTube.
What's your channel?
So it's called Sydney Airport Aviation, but currently it's streaming. Currently it's streaming to live world stream. We just go to different parts of the world, stream like whatever.
Good views, good money, good.
Nothing that, but nice to see you all. But yeah,
Thank you so much.
no worries. Another side that you all can go is, you see the port there, right? The port over there. So if you go that side, there's another runway. That's a smaller runway. You don't get much of international departures and arrivals, but you'll get a very good view of the planes from there. So I'll just show you. Went this past.
Something is better than nothing. As they say. How long have you been streaming? Oh, are they getting my voice as well?
Yes, right now.
Oh my god.
But they don't know who we are. Okay, so this view is from that side. This I filmed it on Sunday morning, so I still need to edit and all of that thing. So you get a very good view from that side as well.
Where is this one? What's the name on the other side?
On the other side, that is called Foreshore Boat Ramp.
Foreshore boat
Near Port Botany, just the other side. So you get a view of the other side of the runway.
Foreshore boat ramp.
Foreshore Boat Ramp, and what's the thing? There's
Oh yeah. And did you get the other place too?
Yeah, Shep's Mount is there. That could be quite.
Thank you.
No worries. Enjoy. Take care. Take care. See you. See you. Take care. Take care. Thank you. Alrighty. As you all may have heard, we had a few people come up and ask us about the best aviation spots in Sydney. And rightly so, they asked us, and we were able to let them know about the best spots. So it seems to be their first time viewers who would not know where exactly to spot, but I'm glad we could help them out. And we are just waiting for QF28 Santiago to Sydney service. Should be here in about 2 minutes. It's been a pleasure filming today. Whilst we didn't get a lot of aircraft, it does set up our base and help us know what we can expect during this time. Of course, we were talking about how quiet it can be in Sydney when we do film around this time in the evening. But then that's not always the case. We did mention that now we are in standard time, and that's the reason why we have this sort of lull. But if you actually compare to the summertime, and the summer period in the southern hemisphere begins in October, and that's when a lot more airlines will come fly to Sydney, because summer means more people traveling. So that time it's not as quieter, and then we've got to give it to Sydney Airport, and we've got to be fair. It's not always this way. We usually the evening time around this time 5:30, which is another heavy arrivals time from Emirates, Etihad, Qatar Airways, the Airbus A380. You all may have heard that Qatar has discontinued its Airbus A380 services temporarily to Sydney Airport. Please don't get sad. Temporarily until June, because they don't really have much of demand, considering the Middle East war and everything that's happening. Hopefully the war ends, and then it would be so much better. But we are still happy that they are sending the A350 1000, but it would be lovely to ever see Qatar Airways A380 here in Sydney. Alrighty, if I move along the camera. Yes, pretty wonderful view. We are going to capture QF 28 Santiago to Sydney. That's the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, registered as VHZNM. And once we film that plane, what we are going to do is just capture pictures. I'm not too sure if we'll get good pictures, considering the sun has already set, and we won't really get much of action. But nevertheless, it's always good to get. And like I said, we will be going to Sheph's Mount. All right, let's get ready for Santiago to Sydney service on the Boeing 787-9 of Qantas, registered as VHZNM QF28. How good was that? Wonderful view from Sydney Airport. I'm glad that we could get all of this action for you all. Super, super wonderful. And I think that should mark the end of our stream unless we see something coming. Christchurch to Sydney, New Zealand service on the Airbus A320. Not something that we may able to capture considering A320 is light and it may just turn off before it's even visible from here. However, as I mentioned, DHL seems to be slightly bit delayed, but it should get ready. It has pushed back. Transponders are on, registered as VHEXZ. If we are lucky to capture that one, it's going to be great. Alrighty, we'll just adjust. We will capture Sydney to Hong Kong. It's just at the holding point, and once it's taken off, then maybe we'll capture other things. We'll see Jetstar. Very nice to see Jetstar taking off. I wish it was the newer livery. Eventually, we will see all of the planes with the newer livery anyway. Right, if we just shift our attention to Port Botany, we will able to see those nice lights blinking on and off. Can you all see the red ones? I'm glad we can stream for 1 hour and 31 minutes. Not that this is even closely related or even close to the usual streams that we do, and let alone comparing it to today's stream, which was 7 hours odd. Whoa, look at that. Wow, super lovely. Yeah, so I was saying, let alone today's stream, which was 7 hours, but usually there are times when we will stream for 11 hours, 30 minutes, and upwards of 11 hours, 45 minutes too. So, yes, If we will try closing that gap and try going to 11 to almost 12 hours later this year. Let us see how everything works. We will try bringing in a lot of different uh, scenes, I would say. What we are planning to do is, since Sydney Airport Aviation is our main channel, we will be streaming this weekend on Sydney Airport Aviation. However, we will be streaming. We plan to stream on this channel, but we don't know how it would work, because if runway 34 is not in operation, it's going to be a challenge for us. But if runway 34 is in operation, it's going to be a wonderful one. Let us see, regardless of what happens. NZ 223 Christchurch to Sydney has arrived. Uh, if we are lucky enough to capture it, we may give it a try, but we are not sure if we will get a good view of the plane. Especially considering it's dark, you can see that on the screen, right? So it's just around the corner on the left side of us. If we are lucky enough to get it, we will. Alrighty, cool. There you go. There, we just spotted it. Okay, not the best of the pictures that we can get, but that is all that we could. Alrighty, and now Sydney to Hong Kong service DHL. It has begun its takeoff row. So we'll leave it at the back camera. We will keep this as the scene. Hopefully, we get a very good view of DHL Sydney to Hong Kong service, and we should enjoy this one. Hopefully, this is the last heavy. I presume this is the last heavy departure that we can capture from here today, given the lighting conditions. All right, did you all see that? What a wonderful way to get the last departure of the day. Sydney to Hong Kong service by DHL, operated by Tasman Cargo Airlines. Super wonderful. We do have Wellington to Sydney service coming in on Qantas QF164, but we are not sure because that is a Boeing 737, just like how we saw the Airbus A320 of Air New Zealand just turning off right away. It may be the very same case for the Boeing 737 as well. We don't see any planes as such. It's 5:36 p.m. right now on 23rd April 2026, and it's a Thursday. Maybe there is not much for us to capture, but we will still wait because we still see daylight as such. So maybe another few minutes, but we don't really see any of the heavy arrivals. There is supposed to be a Singapore Airlines departure. But that should still be far off. So let us see how everything works out. All right, Wellington to Sydney service. We captured that. Let us try getting it on our camera as well. How good is that we could in fact capture it? I think they are pretty heavy, or maybe they just got blown by the wind that they reached that far on the runway, especially considering it's a Boeing 737. Right, what we saw on screen, what is going is the Wellington service, and what we saw on screen that just went by, that was a takeoff for Sydney to Melbourne, again, Virgin Australia. Like I said, Sydney to Melbourne, there's quite a lot of services that keep going and coming every now and then. No heavy departures, no heavy arrivals. You'll know where those heavy departures and arrivals, the continuous stream of them, are destined for. They are destined for Sydney Airport Aviation Channel, and this gives much more of a backdrop of, in fact, behind the scenes of what we stream out here. Okay, so now we are using the regular lens, and we'll just leave it as such. So when we see the takeoffs happening, we are able to get a good view of them after they rotate. That was Sydney to Adelaide service QF743 on the Boeing 737-800, registered as VHVXL. Let me see if I can get that for you. You can see it in the sky. Alright, we have another Sydney to Melbourne service, QF473 of Qantas. And the best part, it's the retro livery, registered as VHXZP. That's the one we've captured on our channel many a time from foreshore boat ramp, landing on runway 34R. But we've never captured it at this time of the day, so it's going to be anyone's guess what it may look like at this very moment. And to see, it has begun its takeoff roll, and hopefully we get a very, very good view of it. Well, let's begin. Alright, as you saw, it was the retro livery. We have captured the retro livery many times earlier, but never at this time of the day. Of course, it could have been a lot more better with better daylight, and that is what we are going to do on our main channel, Sydney Airport Aviation, on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, of course, weather permitting. For those of you who don't know, this is our second channel called Live World Stream, and this is much more than aviation. Over here, we post videos of whatever happens, whatever we view in daily life. However, our main channel is Sydney Airport Aviation, where we post all of the aviation adventures. You may be wondering why then are we filming from Sydney Airport today over here on this channel, and that's mainly because we are testing out how things work, whether we can get a behind the scene live stream from Sydney Airport, usually when we indeed stream on Sydney Airport Aviation on our main channel. So, it's anyone's guess, it's anyone's dream to do what we are doing, and we are glad and we feel blessed that we could do such a thing. Now, again, having said that, it also depends on weather and a lot of other conditions. I always mention the variables, like I said. So, to be fair, it is always based on quite a lot of different things. As you can see, it's getting quite dark right now, so we will, I think, make our way. We do see Christchurch to Sydney service of Emirates coming in 25 minutes from now, and I really don't think it's going to be much of it's not going to be too helpful at all for us to capture anything as of now. So what we will do, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls joining us from everywhere in the world, I think it's time to end this stream, but worry not, the excitement and everything just begins right now, even before we end the stream. Saturday morning, 6 a.m., our first live stream for the long Insect Day weekend begins. Sunday morning, 6 a.m., perhaps our second live stream begins. And Monday morning, 6 a.m., perhaps our third live stream begins. Now, all these times are subject to weather as well as other conditions, such as runways being used. Let's just say if runway 25 is being used, which I hope they better not use it, because runway 25 doesn't give us any good views for whatever reason, because of the alignment. It's the east-west alignment, and it's not going to be too helpful. So what we will do right now is we will end the stream. It's been a wonderful time streaming, though it was quite a lull period for Sydney Airport at this time of the day. You know what we were doing? We were back end testing our systems and everything else that we do need to get everything going here at Sydney Airport when we eventually try the double streaming technique later this year. In fact, we could even try earlier, but we don't really know. Let us see how everything works out. So thank you very much everyone for joining us. We appreciate your presence. It is 5:47 p.m. here in Sydney, Australia on the 23rd of April 2026. Once again, have fun, have a great time, and we will catch you all on tomorrow's live stream in the morning from our Vento. But stay tuned with us. We have a lot of aviation videos and action coming up from this channel. Thank you very much. Take care, stay safe, and once again, if you like this video, you'll know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it with your mates, share it with your family, share it with everyone who loves to watch aviation and the daily adventures of life for free. We are much better than Netflix in that regard, because you don't have to pay to watch us. We don't ask you for payments, but of course, if you want to pay us, we will happily accept. We don't say no. We don't say no for anything. So we are always up for the fun. We are always up for anything and everything that's related to aviation, relating to travel all across the world. And for those of you who don't know, we love streaming from Tokyo Haneda Terminal 3. That's our main spot for aviation. We also love Los Angeles Airport outside In-N-Out Burger, and the name of the place is Westchester, which is just off South Sepulveda Boulevard. We do plan to visit all these places. However, Tokyo Haneda seems more likely in the next few months, when we will go super crazy. I'm telling you, when we go to Tokyo Haneda later this year to stream from the airport, we will go bonkers. We will cross the limits. We are going to go crazy with everything else. So I hope you all enjoy everything. And for all of you who love our aviation content, please watch us on Sydney Airport Aviation on Saturday morning, 6 a.m. That is 25th of April. Once again, thank you very much. We appreciate your presence here. There's nothing more that we can ask from you all other than just your presence on this channel and on our live streams. And what a way to end the stream with the Dash 8 400 having taken off. That's a wonderful one. The Dash 8 400 has taken off to Maury. I don't know where that is, but eventually it may be somewhere. But yeah, thank you very much once again. We appreciate it, and we will see you tomorrow on our live stream. If you don't watch us there, follow us on Saturday morning, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's where all the fun begins. The fun begins at Sydney Airport on Saturday and this weekend. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and catch you in another one.